Right, I am here with a long overdue chat with the amazing founder of the Roots brand, Clayton Thomas, to talk about my favorite thing in the whole world, which is animal health. But before I start off, one, your hair is growing as quickly as mine, and secondly, Clayton, I have arranged the sunshine for your trip over to the UK this weekend.
Hey, the boys are on the way. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in attendance, but we have Ginger, Keanu, and
Brilliant.
Dylan that'll be there. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun to be at the event this weekend. So if you're in the UK, you should go visit the what is it, the Mind Body
Mind,
and
Body, Spirit one up in London, and it's really worth it. And you can meet the Root team there. They're amazing. And as I said, I've arranged the sunshine for them. So before we crack into this really important subject today, how are you doing?
No, it's been a while since we've been able to hang out, and it's been quite the journey, right? From when we used to have our conversations, we talked about a lot of concepts, right? And what the expected outcomes are going to be based on, what this amazing woman has done. And now having all the proof, right, of having the research registries and the ability to track information and looking at clinical outcomes and knowing that the clinical data that we have
Yeah.
is beyond anything that's ever been in the market, pharma or Nutra. And it's fun. And then because of what we've been able to do for humans, translating that into the animal side, because there are some things that can be unique that you can do for animals, because there's a lot of crossover, as you know, with food and diet and lifestyle, but you can tweak things for pets specifically to do some unique stuff. So we've done that.
It's fantastic. And I just wanted to pick up on that because, yeah, as one of your ambassadors, I've now had the benefit of being able to use your products with not only my two-legged and four-legged family, but also all my clients that I work with. And I work with a lot of animals and their humans. And first and foremost, you're right, the results are really speaking for themselves. And they have just been absolutely phenomenal because one of the things, we're making this very YouTube friendly because we all know what we can and can't say anymore. But one of the things that's very apparent is when you arm yourself with the information as a human or as a pet parent with what the challenges are, then it enables you and empowers you to make the best possible choices. So, this is why it's so important, is having solutions in your toolbox that you've got to use not only when a problem arises, but more importantly, preventatively, which you guys are an experts at. So I know you've wanted to do a pet range for ages. Tell the listeners why this was so important to you, Clayton.
Well, we always want to get back to our roots, right? There's the symbolism in that. But I grew up in a veterinary practice, so I've been around animal and human health, my entire life, and that's my journey, in integrative health and wellness is 45 years, and being in clinic and starting to study like the importance of mineral supplementation and stuff when I was 8 years old, and having conversations with my parents and being able to be in the lab and looking at blood work and stool samples and being on farm calls and being in surgeries and understanding that in animal health there are two issues, right? There's the environment that plays a massive effect on all of our pets, and this also applies to people, but we can have a more open conversation when it comes to animals.
Yeah.
So you have the problems with environment. These are environmental toxins. It's the air you breathe, the water they drink, the food they eat, the ground that they lay on, the mattresses, the couches, the rugs, the carpet, everything that they're exposed to that are off-gassing all of these different environmental toxins. And because of their metabolism being faster than ours, they see a greater impact quickly. So environment being one. The second is diet. What they're consuming plays massive into their health, their well-being, and their longevity, right? And especially when we're talking about pets, the longevity part is the most crucial. You want to give them the best water. You want to give them the best food. And we recently acquired a farm in Christina's hometown. And with the farm that we acquired, we inherited a horse. And the horse was part of the deal. And the reason the horse was part of the deal is the horse has been there for his entire life. And what we know about where Christina grew up, Dr. Rom, that one, is it's known to have some of the best groundwater and some of the best farming soil in the country. And our friends were actually laughing at us because we bought a farm that had never been farmed before. And we were laughing at them going, yeah, that's why we bought it, because it hasn't had any pesticides on it. It's raw.
Exactly. And that's why the horse is living as long as it is.
So the horse, we were told the horse was 25 years old, which is pretty good for a horse. But then when we got to the farm and we met Matt, who's the horse, and talked to the people that are taking care of Matt for us, Matt's 35. Now, you know horses, I know horses. 35 is a lot of good years for a horse.
It's really cool. I've got one who's about 33, 34 at the moment, and another one that I lost at 32, and that's really good. And it's just wonderful to see. I must just say, next week I'm speaking to one of my other friends, Dr. Peter Tobias, and he's just met Bobby, the oldest dog in the world, who's, I can't remember if it's 31 or 33. So people, what you guys are doing is you're getting back to, which is what I do as well. We're resetting people's expectations of not just what's possible, but what should be the new normal. We're rephrasing, we're retaking the new normal back.
Yeah, and it's a matter of understanding. I've got another interview here shortly with, and I've been thinking about the word tracking, of where we sit right now, and because of what we've done over the last 3 years, because we launched Root on 02/02/2020.
Yeah.
Right. And Bill&Coo, we actually just made available here in the last couple months. But if your health and your performance isn't just absolutely outstanding and so much better than it was 3 years ago, you're not working with us.
Yeah.
Right. Because we've done it, whether it's human, and we've proven that, but then applying a level of nanotechnology and bioscience engineering acumen, and her ability to do research, because she speed reads and she has an eidetic memory and she's got 20 plus years in biotech, and being able to apply a lot of that experience into the animal space, knowing that in the human world, we look at longevity, and the conversation is about NAD and the benefits of collagen, and the importance of super greens, whether it's chlorella and some of the spirulina and other algae and phytoplankton, and other nutraceutical compounds that some of them are used in the pharmaceutical industry to make drugs. They're synthesized. But being able to address every key component that we need in ourselves, but we can also use in our pets to address what's destroying us, the environment, and then to facilitate what we're not getting in our diet, and some things that we've never really had before in this manner, that we're turning on what we're made to be. And what our pets are capable of. I have the Tilly dog at my feet, and
I've got one of my cats at my feet. Yeah.
As we dive into this, because I've been diligent, the last month since we've been home, of making sure that she gets, because she's a little over 2 now, and that she's getting, breakfast and dinner, her greens and Defend Your Pets and Longer Lives and Pure Clean Pets, and Hiccup's getting it, and I keep this dog really active because I want to make sure she's fit. And if she's not active, she gets mad at me. But the improvement in her muscle tone,
yeah,
like that has been, and this dog's already fit, but this dog is now shredded. I mean, if she didn't have fur, she'd look like a bodybuilder. And it's really intriguing to see what's capable of human performance, because we've seen this in elite athletes. We've also seen it in newborn babies, right? We have new moms. We have two new moms, both of them from the Detox Girls, from Jill and Shanna. Both of their daughters were told when they were 18 that they were never going to have children. One of them from PCOS, which after, I think it took a total of like 16 months, and it was in 6 months that she shedded all of the ovarian cysts that she had on her ovaries. And then shortly after that, Both girls were able to get pregnant, and they both had amazing pregnancies. One of them just gave birth to one of the healthiest babies they'd ever seen. Um, and these kids are functional at a level that the medical establishment, that the pediatricians and the OBGYNs, when these babies are being born, they don't understand why they're functioning the way that they are, because it's abnormal to see kids this healthy
This is the
anymore.
Yeah, you've hit on such important points as always, Clayton. And this is what, you and I working with animals for so long, people have forgotten just how vibrant our animals can be. But we're just giving you lots of tools that you can actually really employ. And I can promise you it's never too late, because my Labrador, who I lost last year, Star, when I put her on, I mean, I've got diet and nutrition courses for dogs, for cats, and all sorts of how to use herbs and essential oils with them on my academy side. But when I started giving her the clean slate, there was such an immediate step improvement in her health, in her mobility. And, so this is what I want to say to people. It's so, so important. So look, where did you get the name Bill&Coo from? Where does that come from?
Oh, it's interesting where a name comes from, right? Because the term Bill and Coo actually means to pet and caress, because that's what we love to do with our animals. And we were trying to come up with a name, and Dr. Ram was like, "How about this?" I'm like, "Well, that sounds amazing. What does it mean?" She's like, "It actually means to pet and caress." I'm like, "Well, then we're gonna do Bill and Coo."
Perfect.
We coo with our, whether it's a baby or a puppy or your dogs and your cats, like, "Oh, I love you," and then you're playing with them, and
To
yeah,
see me with my guinea pigs. I,
yes,
I coo over
right.
those big time. Yeah.
And, so it's being able to tie everything together, because everything it should have meaning, right? And there's always symbolism in everything, and it's the same thing with root, with what our foundation is and what the symbolism is, even within the logo and the brand, and being able to have things that fit. And it's been fun, and even with the design, the names of each product, which we'll probably hit on because I actually
Yeah.
have them. There's always something to a name, right? So you want to make sure that you give it, so it's not standard. Some people look at like "Give Me Back My Youth" and they're like, "Why did you name it that?" I was like, "Because that's what it does."
Yeah. The name's there's a clue in the name there.
Okay.
So many people, Clayton, say, come on now, we don't need to give our animals supplements. You've touched on some of the most important issues already, but let's make it really clear why you and I are so passionately believe that our pets, and we're pets, we don't really like the name pets, but our animal family members, whether it's a guinea pig, a dog, a cat, a horse, you can use these for all of these. Now, why are you so passionate that our animals now need this extra support?
It's funny, like what you said, that you don't have to, right? But you should,
Mm,
right? It's the same thing for what we do to our bodies. We don't have to, clean ourselves up and try to eat well and exercise and do good things. You don't have to, but you should, right? Because the outcomes from those behaviors lead to longevity. It leads to functioning better, feeling better, being more productive, and being a good example. And the same thing with your pets. If you have animals, right? Like you said, not just pets, but if you have animals in general, it's our job to be a good steward of their lives. So you can neglect them just like you can neglect your kids, but that's not right. Because you're taking the responsibility to help them manage and maintain their life. And it's cruel to not do everything that you have available to you to be of service to them. So the goal was being able to have the tools available that, with your pets, that you're going to do everything you can to give them the best life possible. And if you do that, they're going to be with you as long as possible. Sometimes accidents and things happen, so you might lose one early. But the one thing that I always noticed when I was in the clinic, and I spent a lot of time doing this, and it's the one thing I tried to teach people even when I was younger, that you might, think greatly of your pets while they're with you, but the time that comes when it's time to say goodbye,
Mm.
it's always too soon, right? Because it's like, oh, I wish I had more time. And the opportunity to know that you're going to have the tools available to you that you can combine with a good diet, right? Because the one thing that I try to tell everyone is you should feed, especially dogs and cats, because they're the easiest ones. You should feed them as raw as possible, as possible that you have in your life. Like my mom, because of having a clinic and what they do, my mom would spend more time prepping the meals for the animals, for our dogs, than she would for us.
You should
And
see me with my cats, Clayton. I've got 5, and it is hysterical. My husband's always like, perhaps I should dress as a cat.
yeah,
You get a
yeah,
lot more attention, but it's so important because they can't make the choices for themselves. We're making the choices, and generally speaking, the quality food that goes into pet food that you're buying is so inadequate and so heavily polluted. So check out the links below if you want to know how to feed your cats and dogs properly, and a horse one coming soon.
Yep, and it's really the key thing of even in nutritional supplementation,
Mm.
right? Of dietary supplementation in the animal space, the majority of the products that are designed for dietary supplementation for animals aren't of the same quality for humans, which leads to a bunch of other issues. And we know even in human supplementation, like if we just talk about vitamin C, about 90% of the vitamin C supplements on the market are loaded with heavy metals. I mean, the stuff is just toxic. And we're seeing that. I was talking to one of our ambassadors yesterday, and she cleans homes, for her career, and I hadn't heard from her in a bit. And I checked in with her. She's like, "Yeah, I had a bacterial infection from Fabuloso, which is a cleaning product that's really become really popular here in the United States." I'm like, "Hold on a second. You got a bacterial infection from the cleaning product?" She's like, "Yeah, there was a recall on it, and it's toxic, and it's got bacteria in it. It's making everybody sick." I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know this." But when you get the same issues, not just in cleaning products, but in the things that are being put into us, or the things that are being given to us to take that are supposed to be good for us.
Mm.
And you want to be cognizant of that, when it comes to your animals too. You want to make sure that you're getting the highest quality possible. And that was where Dr. Ram, when she was putting all of our products together for Bill&Coo, that they're all human grade, components, right? So we're not looking at, something that is like animal grade. So they're creating something that was swept off the floor, and as byproducts of different things, or as leftovers. It's like, well, this is not good enough for human consumption because it might be toxic with a certain number of heavy metals and pesticides or such. So they say, no, we would never give this to humans because it's going to test negatively for those things. But we can give it to animals and we can sell it, and we'll actually make money on what we would normally have to throw away. That's the business.
Yeah,
We didn't. And so we've made sure, and she's really uncompromising in everything she creates because she knows it's her energy, it's her integrity,
mm,
it's 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 her spirit and love that's going into everything. So she's not going to compromise that with any ingredients that are not of the highest quality either. And when you do that, it it might cost a little more to produce, right?
mm,
So the manufacturing expense of that increases because quality costs more. But you don't have to pass that on to the consumer, to the customer, if your focus is on taking care of your customers and your clients. You just adjust accordingly. So the profitability for the company might not be as high as it could be, but we're providing the service, we're getting the outcomes that we want. And it's the difference in philosophy that we have, because one, we distribute a lot of money, we pay a lot of rewards for people creating value, but because we own everything, we don't need to get rich quick, because you'll do that by taking care of a bunch of people and doing good and having it be consistent. and which is a different philosophy in today's world because most people are trying to do just that, get rich quick and get out.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. You're creating a legacy. And
yeah.
at the end, everyone, please do stay to the end, because I'm going to cover the unique social sharing opportunity that comes with these products. And the reason that you guys have done that is to make sure that everyone doesn't need to miss out. So can we start on my absolute favorite place to start, which is the Pure Clean Pets? So for
I
me,
was going to guess.
are you going to guess? You know that I'm going to start this. So for me, this is the absolute foundation for whether you're looking at the human version or the animal version. Talk us through for people, because we've got a lot of new listeners, Clayton, that people aren't familiar with your human range. So what is a Pure Green Pets and why is it so crucial?
This is the CTC version of Clean Slate, but you have Clean Slate, which is the human side, and then you have Pure Clean Pets. And what this is foundationally is a very unique product in its ability to bind and trap and allow for the systemic removal of these toxic metals, these environmental pollutants, mold spores, biotoxins, graphene, everybody's familiar with now. So you have mercury, lead, aluminum, cesium, strontium, gadolinium, arsenic, graphene, different biotoxins, lime spirochetes, viral fragments, which people will become familiar with. This amazing little crystal that we start with and fracture and then break apart, clean, and treat is something that is very, very special, right? But the really crucial component is understanding bioscience engineering and knowing that if you're removing a lot of these toxins will block binding sites for essential minerals or essential nutrients or hormones. So if you do things properly, you can simultaneously remove and deliver, because the same crystal that's great at actually removing things is also used in the pharmaceutical industry as a delivery mechanism. So what makes Pure Clean Pets really special is it's designed for the animals. In its formulation and dosage, it's a little bit different than the human version, but you're giving your pets what they need from a trace mineral standpoint, every morning, every night, along with the ability to start cleaning out these things that have been in them since they were puppies.
Yeah.
And it is really the foundation. What's really interesting with this, and I've seen this for many, many years, even prior to launching Root, with the previous processes I was using before Dr. Ram and I got together, and she went way beyond anything that we'd ever seen before. That when you start using this and you put this on their food, if you do this a few days or a few weeks and you stop, they'll tell you that they want it back. They'll look at you and go, no, 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 you're not done yet. I want my drops, because energetically, animals know, right? It's why pets know to go to the water dish, right? Humans, we get dehydrated by nature because we're too stupid to drink water. Animals know they need to get water. Why can you lead a horse to water but not get them to drink? Because the horse knows that there's probably something in the water that they shouldn't be drinking. So if they look at you and they're like, I'm not drinking that, you probably shouldn't drink it either. But you can give them one of the key tools that allows them to start working really, really, really effectively, and you'll see their life come back. So if you've got older kids, the arthritis, all the the poor metabolism, the limp that they get, as they're aging, all of this, the aging process starts from a buildup of environmental toxins that slows everything down and creates negative inflammation and damages joints and does all these things. As you start to remove those, things start to come back. And because, an animal's metabolism, a dog's metabolism, a cat's metabolism, they're so fast, you're going to see them recover really, really quickly. And you can equate that into human health. But what you might see in a day or two or a week or a month in your pets, you have to equate to what it means in their lifestyle. So a month for them is like, or a month for us is 7 months for them.
Yeah.
You know, so if you see
Absolutely.
changes in them in a month, you can expect, you know, over the next 7 months or so, 6, 7 months, if I do this consistently, I'm probably going to see the same outcomes. You know, so those are,
How they start playing again. And the other thing I would say, which is fantastic about your supplements, I mean, for those of us who've got cats, we know it's very easy to get supplements into dogs, not so easy into cats. But my cats absolutely love this, and it's something they have every single day without fail, because a lot of mine have come from rescue situations, so they've been full of a lot of chemicals before they've got them, and obviously not had good starts, even though they're the ones that can go out and catch their own food. So everyone, if there's one thing you can start with the Pure Clean Pets. It's an absolute must, because you cannot absorb nutrients if your body's full of toxins. Perfect.
and what you see in cats and dogs, and you can see it in other ones, even fish, putting this in a fish tank is outstanding, because it will help to detoxify the water. What we've seen a lot of is, you know, depending upon how long you've had fish, their color will come back.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of like saltwater fish and even freshwater fish, you got them in the tank, they'll lose their color over time just because the water is toxic,
Yeah.
and their color will come back. It's really, really cool. But because of the energetics of what these products are and what they do, when you give them to your pets, you know, typically they're sensitive to taste, but they know, based on a frequency standpoint and the energy that they're connecting with, that it's good for them, and they get into it. You know, it's interesting to see when I mix everything in my dog bowls for Hiccup and for Tilly. Hiccup's my little Frenchie that's more pig than he is Frenchie, and he'll go over and lick her bowl because she'll leave some residue of the powders in the bottom of the bowl, and he goes over to make sure he's cleaning that up because he's going to get every bit that he can. So, but this really is that foundation, and then you get into playing with biology a little bit more with some of the other ones. Which one do you want to do next?
Well, I wanted to say to people, you can use this for guinea pigs, rabbits, horses as well. So if you ever need any advice, just reach out, and I can always provide that. So I want to go through the AniGreens next, please.
I got them all lined up properly.
Yeah.
So
great.
this is what it sounds like. It's greens specific, like as I'm drinking mine. I've got my Give Me Back My Youth and my Relive greens. But the AniGreens is just what it says. It's greens designed specifically for animals. So the formula is a little bit different than it is for humans. You've got, you know, inulin powder, so you've got the good prebiotic fibers that are really important. You've probably heard of all the probiotic craze in humans and animals. And the supplementation of probiotics is usually not the ideal situation, because you got to take care of the environment. And if you give your gut, or you give their gut, the prebiotics, then their ecosystem is going to start producing the rest of the things. And then if you diet properly, or you supplement with foods, you know, some of the different fermented foods and such, then you're golden. But this has the inulin and green banana flour, apple fiber, spirulina, very, very important, barley grass powder, psyllium husk powder, alfalfa greens, which if you know horses, you know alfalfa is outstanding, spinach, parsley, and aloe vera, right? So you have some very highly nutrient dense compounds that are all combined together to give them a lot of stuff that they're not going to get in their diet normally. You're not going to find anything else on the market that does this, but it's designed to not only give, you know, all of those, you know, super greens, but also the key components to assist in a healthy gut, right? And you'll see this with dogs specifically. That's really easy, because when you take them out in the morning, and when they go poo, you can take a look and go, it's healthy or it's not healthy. And you'll see
my favorite thing is discussing poo with all my animal clients.
Yeah. I know when my dog gets into stuff that she's not supposed to, because
you can tell. Yeah.
She's prone to sneaking away at times if we leave stuff on the countertop and when we go to bed, and she'll get me up at night and go, you need to help me.
Mm,
And then I can go look and go, oh, you cheated. Okay.
mm.
Because it's one of those the fun components of looking and knowing that um you're you're watching the changes in them. And especially for my dog, because we're so active and she spends a lot of time jumping in the pool chasing the tennis ball. And like the last week or so, mama was like, she stinks. She's like, we need to have her anal glands expressed, and she needs a bath. I'm like, well, she gets a bath every 2 weeks. She's getting groomed. And I was like, well, we'll have her checked out. Well, she came back from the puppy spa yesterday, and they're like, she doesn't have a problem in her butt. She's like, there's nothing there. I'm like, they're just like, she must be eating well. I'm like, yes, she is. Because a lot of the things that you see in animals, that are problematic over time won't exist if you're doing good things for them. So you're gonna save a lot of time. You're gonna have really good teeth, right? This is really important. Healthy mouth in these dogs and cats is really, really important. So good nutrients, especially what this does, for oral health. But the combination of these, with good food, they're going to have great teeth. They're not going to have bad breath. They're going to have great coat. Their skin's
Yeah.
going to be good. You won't see allergies. You won't likely have any joint problems until they get really, really old. And it makes for good time. So the greens is really foundation, and all it takes is a little bit. You just sprinkle it on their food.
I just
But
want to say that because even with the pure greens, with the pure green clean plates, that's a 60-day bottle, isn't it? So that bottle lasts 60
it
days.
really depends on the size of your pets, because with this, it's a quarter of a teaspoon recommended per 10 pounds.
Yeah.
But one of the things I've been doing, and this is kind of counterintuitive to selling a lot of products, I that she gets about a teaspoon a day. So they get a sprinkle in the morning and a sprinkle at night. So she probably gets, a half a teaspoon in the morning on her food, and then a half a teaspoon at night. But, because of how sensitive the animals are, you can, like, if budget was a concern and you were looking at this, and so I even forgot how much the AniGreens is. But if you said, oh, well, is this a 60-day supply or a 30-day supply? Well, and that's expensive. We'll just use a little bit less because of, the high quality of the nutrients. What we've found with other aspects of science and human performance is the component of microdosing, right?
Yeah,
There are
absolutely.
different aspects. And that applies in animals as it does in humans. And it applies to a lot of what we do. You don't need volume. What you need is quality.
Yeah.
And the right energy, which comes from the formulator a lot of times with their intention and what they're putting into the product, why it's made, and what it's made with, and where those ingredients are sourced from. So you might not need volume. You just need energy and quality. And that's what you're getting. So just a little sprinkle instead of big scoops that you're used to, even on the human side with Relive Greens, you only need a teaspoon. The same thing with this is you might do half the dosage, right? You might say, okay, you know what, I can't afford, a teaspoon a day for 5 animals, right? Just back it off a little bit, and you're still going to see tremendous outcomes. And
Yeah.
so you can fit your budget.
Any move in the right direction is worth it. So please don't let that put you off, because it really does make all the difference. You're so right. I love that product. I really love the product. I love the human version, and I love the animal version. It's so, so important. So I think we're going to go on to next, the Defend Your Pet.
You did line them up properly. I'm so proud. So defend your pet is something that is, I will put this out there because you have more followers than I do. This is the most advanced pet product ever put on the market. And its human version has actually been proven to probably be the most advanced in its class. Well, it not proven to be. It is the most advanced in its class. This product, Defend Your Pets, is so advanced that the veterinary industry isn't even having conversations about it yet. And the concept of what this is doing is at the forefront of science and human performance, because what it's designed to do is provide the precursors and the key components that an animal's body needs to produce more NAD. So it's nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, which is what science has proven. And the mouse studies on NAD have already proven this, that with NAD supplementation. And what is NAD? Why is NAD so popular? Why is this going to be one of the key conversation pieces for the next decade? Because NAD is the battery that powers the mitochondria of every cell on the planet. If you have higher levels of NAD, it means you have more power to power the mitochondria. You have more juice, right? And it's NAD that's now been proven to increase longevity. It's not telomeres, right? It's not telomerase. It's how much energy can your mitochondria produce, and how much power, what kind of battery life do your mitochondria have to produce more energy? Because energy is the ability to do work, and it's mitochondria that power every cell in your body. So it's going to control your immune function, it's going to control muscle function, it's going to control your endocrine system. Every system in the body is all controlled by mitochondrial function if you go all the way down. And it's NAD that feeds the mitochondria the ability for the mitochondria to actually produce energy. This is the only product in the market that does it for animals, and its human version is the only product that's ever been stabilized to put in a capsule and have it be good for longer than 60 days. And both of them are outstanding. So if you want your animals to live a long time, right, you got to clean them up, give them good food. But then this little dude is, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm going to be a test subject for this because my Tilly dog is 2. She's a golden doodle. This dog's going to go until she's 20 at least, because of what she's going to get. And she's an apricot in color. So I don't see this dog getting gray anytime soon. And
I'm aiming for at least 30. I've got 2 lovely little mixed breeds. Well, they're quite big, and they're amazing. And I'll tell you what, anyone look at my Instagram and check out their teeth. My cat and dog teeth are absolutely stunning. I love that product. I really love the Defend Repair, and it's also got one of my other favorite ingredients in, the quercetin.
Yeah, well, and quercetin in combination is one of those precursors for NAD production, and it's the part that she understands from bioscience engineering of how to combine specific ingredients to create the chemical reactions in the body to create the specific outcomes, right? Yeah. So you see a bunch of formulators that will look at things like, oh, this is a popular ingredient, this is a popular ingredient, oh, there's this one too, and they just mix them all together and say, this is amazing. But they don't understand how to combine specific ingredients. They're not uncompromising in the sourcing, which is so crucial in ingredients like we hit on. But if you stack ingredients properly, and you really have to understand bioscience engineering in order to do this, that you can amplify the effects of each ingredient, and you can create cascades in the body that allow for other things to be done. And that's why this is, Defend Your Pets is so special for creating this cascade of producing more NAD. And because it's got the NAD precursors, but then the quercetin, the vitamin K, they all work together to create that chemical reaction to allow it to take place.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Really great. And we're going to finish off with another lovely product, the Live Longer. So talk us through that.
Longer lives. Who doesn't want longer lives? And so we know Give Me Back My Youth on the human side, because we always want to get younger. We want our pets to what? Live longer. Makes sense. So this is actually 2 ingredients. That's it. And actually, I want to start taking this myself because of what's in it. So you have 2 ingredients. That's all. And notice they're all powders.
Yeah.
Right? There's no capsules, there's no fillers, there's no excipients, nothing else. It's just really, really clean, really pure. It's all you're getting. So you have bovine collagen, which bovine collagen is the best form of collagen for humans or animals. And we source the human grade version of bovine collagen. And I believe this is sourced from the same place we get the collagen for Give Me Back My Youth, which is actually a cruelty-free source of bovine collagen. which is rare, extremely rare, actually. The second ingredient is beetroot powder. And the beetroot powder is there as a benefit for improving blood flow, vascular function to go along with the collagen. So you're going to see, because the beetroot increases nitric oxide. And so you're going to have better vascular function. And then the collagen, and we know what collagen does when it's properly synthesized. But here's the key with collagen, and this is where the understanding of how things flow come in. You can't just take a collagen supplement and expect your body to, take in that collagen, break it down, and take the amino acids and produce collagen that you can use, because you're missing something when you consume collagen. And it's the precursor needed in the production of collagen synthesis, but also in glutathione, right? So when we look at the greens, a lot of the stuff that's in here actually allows for the production of glutathione when you have one thing, and it's found in here, which is bioavailable silica. Yeah. Right, and orthosilicic acid. And what this little crystal that we use is found from is nature's best source of bioavailable silica, but it had to be unlocked, which is what Dr. Ram figured out how to do. And when you combine that component of providing the bioavailable silica along with like the collagen or with the greens, their stomach and their gut is going to break down those components into their amino acid profile. And then you have the silica in there as well, and the silica is the building block. So it allows all of this synthesis to take place. So you're going to see them start to regenerate and start to function really, really well, really quickly. And healthy pets, longer lives, makes for good time.
Happy humans. So I love it. I'm so grateful you guys have done this. For anyone that's new to this, I will put the playlist below that with Clayton and Dr. Christina Ram, who's the formulator of these amazing products, below. So there's loads of information you can look through. But the important thing is it's never too late to start. And I will also put below a link which explains the beautiful ethos of the Roots social sharing. So could you just say a couple of words on that? Well, I know you never stick to a couple, but this is so important. The social sharing ethos. That's the only person I know who talks more than me. This is so beautiful because what you've done with this, Clayton, is you've set up a way that makes it achievable for everyone to get your products. Talk us through why this is so important to you.
Really simply, we just put our money where our mouth is, right? Because our mouth is our customers, just like every company. A company's greatest asset is their customer, right? But what we know is that happy customers tell their friends, right? If you have something, that's why we're having this conversation, because you want to make sure that your community understands what you found that is of value, and you want them to have access to what you have found is really beneficial. Well, when we do that, and this is our natural behavior, right? So in doing this, we're sharing concepts or ideas for other companies or other brands that we then use. Well, that's creating value. And companies to this point, prior to 3 years ago, really hadn't taken a focus to put their advertising dollars to work in a way that was conducive to rewarding those that actually create the real value. So the entire concept of this social sharing approach was to shift how a company should behave, that in improving a theory, improving a model, that you don't have to spend money on advertising on social media to get people's attention, because we're already on social media. Mm-hmm. All you need to do is take good care of people, provide really good products, create amazing outcomes, which allows people to be very happy. And then one thing happens, we tell our friends. But what we did is just create a mechanism that allows all of that to be tracked exponentially and infinitely. So as you share with your friends, it never stops there. Your friends are going to like the products. They share with their friends, who share with friends, who share with friends. You started that cascade of value creation, and we created a mechanism that rewards it all the way through infinitely. And it works really, really well. We're getting amazing outcomes, and we've had people that have had life-changing outcomes, not only physically, in their life and in their health, but also for fiscally.
Yeah.
Right. And it's important to have both, especially in this environment that we live in, where, we're being attacked spiritually, we're being attacked physically. So our health is so important. But at the same time, if you don't have money, you're not going to have access to a lot of things, even taking care of your pets. So it was really important to us to invest heavily in those that we value the most. And those are the people that love what we do and love the products and share. So if you like the stuff, share it, because you'll get a link, you get a username, the same way that, Catherine has, and you can share that with your friends and you get rewarded. And the cool part is when you're doing that, she gets rewarded too, which allows us to do more cool stuff.
Yeah. So I just want to assure people, the link will be below about how to order, but the beauty is it doesn't cost you anything to sign up for your free account. You do not have to go onto a monthly subscription. You can save money by doing so, should you choose, but there's no obligation to do that. So any questions, let me know. And just remember, your animals deserve this. You deserve it. As anyone who's watching this, you're passionate about your health of your animals. You want to do all you can. I did a beautiful interview with a cancer survivor called Angelica on my channel, and she said it so beautifully, Clayton. She said, I want to say, as a young mom, I want to be able to tell my children I did everything I could. And those of us that are lucky enough to share our lives with animals, we want to be able to look our animals in the face and say, we've done everything we can within our power to keep you as happy and healthy for as long as possible. And that relieves a lot of stress for us pet parents too. Thank you so much for sharing your time. I know how busy you are. I'm so happy you've done these products, and the testimonials speak for themselves. So try them out, people, and let us know what you think.
Cheers.
Thanks, Clayton. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious, and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.